Hey, all, today we're going to continue talking about logic, and we're going to continue talking about the statements and the symbols that represent the statements and different words. Today specifically we are going to talk about that arrow that goes to the right. They create these things called conditional statements, if-then statements. So we are going to write 4 different kinds of conditional statements. These things that we call the original conditional statement. And then if we manipulate those statements in specific ways, we get 3 other kinds of statements: a converse, an inverse, and a contrapositive. And we will talk about this thing called a biconditional at some other time. So here they are in symbols, and in class together we'll build a flip book so we can remember what the symbols, the order of the symbols, and how we take an original statement and create a new one. But for now, in order to take an original statement, we have some sentence that we call P, one that we call Q, and then we have that arrow that goes to the right in between, and that gives us this if and then. And if we change the order of Q and P, that's what we would call the converse of our original conditional statement. If we keep the order of P and Q, so we go P with the arrow and Q, but we put the little squigglies on them, we change the meaning of P and Q, that's what we call the inverse. And then if we do both of those things, we change the order and put Q first, and then we put the little squiggly on there, and we change the meaning, that's what we call the contrapositive. I always like to remember the contrapositive because it's the longest, most confusing name of the 3, and it's the thing where you have to do the most work. You have to change the order of P and Q, and then you have to put the little squiggly, which changes the meaning. And this is probably going to mean a lot more when we do an example, so let's do that. So here I have this conditional statement. It's a conditional statement because it has an if at the beginning and then in the middle where it's connecting 2 different things. And so in between if and then, that's my P, pigs fly. The stuff that comes after the word then, that's Q, I am tall. So this is my original conditional statement. If pigs fly, then I am tall. And you know me at least a little bit now, and you know I'm not tall, so pigs are not flying. To write the converse, we are going to change the order. So we are going to always keep the if at the beginning and then in the middle. And then we're just going to switch where the words that represent P and the words that represent Q are. So let me do that. So all I did was switch where pigs fly and I am tall are. I put I am tall after if and pigs fly after then. That's how we create the converse. To create the inverse, we're going to keep them in the same order, but we're going to put that little squiggly on both P and Q. So if and then are always in the same place. Those never change. Now pigs fly is still going to be at the beginning, but I'm going to change its meaning. Pigs don't fly. I am tall is going to be at the end, but I'm going to change its meaning. I am not tall. So I kept the order of my original statement, but I just changed the meaning of the words in between if and then and after. So the opposite of pigs flying is pigs not flying. The opposite of me being tall is me not being tall. And then when we want to create a contrapositive, we do both of those things. We switch their order and we put the little squiggly on the letters, which means we change the meaning. And so again, if always starts my sentence, then is always somewhere in the middle. And now I am going to put something about me not being tall at the beginning and pigs not flying at the end. So let me do that. So if I am not tall, then pigs don't fly. I change the order of my original words and I change their meaning. This takes some practice, so do make sure that you ask questions if you got confused here at all, and also make sure when it is practice time next time that you are doing the practice and asking for help when you get stuck. So sometimes we'll give you a statement and we want you to identify which of the following are the converse, inverse, and contrapositive. So we are looking for how did we manipulate the letters. So the thing I always start with when I'm looking at a conditional statement is I want to identify what represents P and what represents Q. P is all the words between if and then. So you watch this video, that is P. You will get credit. I'm going to use a different color. That is Q. And so before I even identify whether any of these are the converse, inverse, or contrapositive, I am going to go find out which ones are about watching the video. So I'm going to go find in all three of these sentences where it says something about watching a video. And I'm just going to underline in purple where I'm talking about watching a video. And so that means all those pieces represent P. And I'm going to look at those and see, hey, do any of them say the opposite of what watching a video is? So do any of them say something about not watching a video or don't watch a video? If it says something like not or don't, if it's the opposite meaning, then I'll put the little squiggly. So both of those had that we don't watch this video. And now I'm going to go look for what it says about getting credit. All the places where it says something about you getting credit. And so those are my cues. And if it says something about not getting credit or you won't get credit, that means I've changed the meaning. And so that means, like right here, I need the squiggly. It says won't. I'm changing the meaning. Here it says I won't get credit. I'm changing the meaning. And so now I have the symbols, and you can look if you've written these down, which one is which. We can find out where we have the same pattern. So squiggly Q coming first, and then squiggly P, that's the contrapositive. Q and then P, so I just changed the order of them. That is the converse. And then keeping the same order but giving them the squigglies, that is the inverse. And I don't remember these because I'm really smart. I remember these because I do them a lot. So the more you practice, the more you'll get used to which one is which. And finally, we can write converse, inverse, and contrapositive, even if it doesn't look like what we started with, P's and Q's. We can start with some combination of letters and squigglies, and we can manipulate them using the patterns. So when we write the converse, if we want to write the converse of this one, all we're going to do is switch the order of our symbolic sentence. The arrow stays in the middle, and instead of starting with squiggly P, we'll start with Q, and then squiggly P will go at the end. We just switch the order. That's the converse. The inverse is changing the meaning of both sides. We don't change the order, we change the meaning. So when we start with a squiggly, to change the meaning of that, we take it away. For Q, Q didn't start with a squiggly, so to change the meaning, we add one. And then to get the contrapositive, we do both. So we're going to change the order. We're going to put Q first and squiggly P last, and then we are going to change the meaning. So to change Q, we add the squiggly. To change squiggly P, we take the squiggly away. Squiggly is not a real technical term, but it's fun to say. So I want you to pause right now. Please pause the video, and I want you to see if you can make the converse, inverse, and contrapositive of number 2. If you need help, please raise your hand and ask. We'll be glad to help you through this. It's a lot of letters, a lot of symbols, a lot of switching things around, and it does get confusing at first. So if you stick with it and keep trying and ask for help, it will get better. So I hope you tried these on your own. Please check your answers. It's absolutely okay if you got one or all of them wrong. Please raise your hand and we can come over and help you work through what mistake you might have made. If you got them all right, give yourself a little clap. Well done. But this is why we practice. We need to keep practicing these things and they will become better and better for you. So there are problems at the end for you to do. Please stick around and watch and do those problems, answer those questions so you can get full credit. If you do have questions while you're working on them, like I've said, please ask for help. We'd be glad to help you. We want you to learn, so we don't want you to stay there and be stuck. Try the 4 problems. Good luck.